Thanks, dude. We're in a soundstage. We actually like work at a record label.
Yeah.
And so this is the soundstage where everyone does music videos and stuff.
Oh, right.
Live shows.
Nice.
Yeah. We actually have the SSL next door that like Slippery When Wet was recorded on, and a bunch of 80s Aerosmith records.
Oh, wow. When they kind of had people write songs for them.
Yeah. We're in Vancouver, and there was a place called Little Mountain. You probably know about it. It's where like
I know it. It's a great studio.
Yeah. Yeah. So like you're from the Bay Area, so I assume you know lots about Metallica, but they did Black Album also in that studio.
Yeah, like the dubs and stuff. Yeah, that's like Bob Rock. Yeah, he really loved that studio. It's and Vancouver's just fantastic. I have not unfortunately got to do comedy there. But,
really?
I mean, it's been it's kind of been like the unicorn, you know, but I've played the Commodore Ballroom a bunch of times music wise.
With the Dean Delray band?
Yeah. So I love that. And I played a lot of places in there over the years, you know. Yeah. Great city, you know.
Commodore is a legendary venue. Like specifically, it was like a punk venue in the 70s, I suppose.
Yeah.
And there's a book that came out about it. And then I'm not sure you ever saw the movie Hardcore Logo, but the last scene, the Battle of the Bands, is at the Commodore Ballroom.
I talked to the guy that used to book it in the late 70s.
Okay.
And, I had him on the podcast. He was a huge kind of Canadian promoter, and he did like AC/DC on the Back in Black tour across Canada and stuff. And he's got a giant merch company now and stuff like that. Cool. Yeah, really cool.
Oh, I wonder do you remember his name?
Yeah, I do, but my brain doesn't work, unfortunately.
That's okay.
Yeah.
When you played there, was it opening for another band? Because I saw you were touring with like Lenny Kravitz and the Black Crowes and stuff.
I think it was with it was with God, what was that band called? Shit. Oh man, the guy died. I can't remember. It wasn't Morphine. It was another band that was around at that era. And Mark Sandman died like shortly after I saw him.
Yeah.
At Slim's. And then this guy. Oh God, I can't remember, man. I can see the band, but I can't remember. I'm just fucking. Alls I remember these days are my jokes.
That's good. That's important.
Yeah.
When was the last time you wrote a song?
Oh God, 15 years ago or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you find that writing jokes facilitates that kind of thing, and performing stand-up facilitates what you used to get out of playing music live?
Well, I like doing stand-up 1,000 times more than I like playing music.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially in the last, I would say 15 years or the last 10 years of playing music. Once the cell phone came in, it was just boring. There was no connection. Was on there.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, no connection. But with comedy, it reminds me of the early days of playing music. It's just you and the audience, and they're so engaged, and it's dangerous. It could go bad at any minute. It could be electric. And, as much as I love playing music, it doesn't come close to me of doing comedy. Not even close. I don't even think about playing music.
Really? Do you
once
feel
a year, I do the Bon Scott tribute, and that's more to give back to my buddies like Marin and Burr and guys like that for helping me out, Yeah. I'm kind of like, like I do these big gigs with them and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then when they do these gigs with me, they're like, I can't believe it. I go, well, now you know how I feel when I'm out there opening for you at like the LA Forum or, Red Rocks or something.
Wow.
So, it's great to be able to give back something to your friends that will blow their mind,
Who of your comedian friends were you surprised at their musical talent?
Well, I mean, Marin can play a mean guitar, and Burr plays great drums. those are really only the comedian friends that I jam with. Chris Porter, he can play guitar and sing, which is cool. But you know, and I try to tell people this, they don't understand. Like, I don't even talk to, you know, comedians about playing music at all. You know, like, I'll talk to them about music, but I don't be like, oh yeah, man, the G chord into C, you know, and then you modulate up, man, to get that chorus, you know. To me, I am just in the comedy mode, and because I'm only 11 years in, so to me, it's still like, you know, I look at those guys and they're kind of like where I was 25 years into music. You know, people are like, "Whoa, man, you know, you just played this and that." You're like, "Yeah, it's what I do." You know, and that's how I look at them now. You know, they're like, "Yeah, it's what we do, dude." Yeah,
I always find like my day job is I'm in a band, and that's how I make a living. And I'm friends with mostly comedians, and I notice they mostly want to talk about music to me.
Yeah,
right.
Playing guitar, or amps, or gear, or whatever. They don't want to talk about comedy. And that's what I love.
It's funny because I've been podcasting for 10 years, and there's a small niche of audience that and I love them. And I never want to sound like I'm you know, angry or something, but they'll just email me all day long, like guitar builders and amp builders. And I'm like, hey man, it's not a guitar podcast, you know? Like, I'll have 5 builders on in 10 years, and then that's all they talk about. And I'm like, wow, you got to get out of the basement, man. You know, you got to get out of the basement, man. The guitar is great, but you know why the guitar is great is because the song that was wrote on it. You know, If there was, I said this a couple months ago on my podcast. I hate guitar solos. I can't stand to hear by themselves. By themselves. You know, Instagram, I'm flicking around. It's like, it's just dude after dude after dude in their bedroom, blazing guitar. And it makes my skin cringe. You know,
you must love the Saint Anger album then, because there's no guitar solos on.
No, you get me wrong. I love guitar solos in a song.
Okay. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
So you don't like going to Guitar Center and just listening to some asshole.
Well, that's what part of Instagram is now. It's like the corner of Guitar Center, and you're like, wow, look at this car. Whoa, look at this architecture, and all of a sudden the next picture. And you know, and people are always like, look how amazing this guy is. I go, that guy's not amazing at all. He just learns somebody else's stuff. Where's his songs at? And that's that would be like if there was like cover comedians. Can you imagine just comedians who just sitting in their bedroom just doing Bill Hicks sets? You know?
I like that happens sometimes overseas. Like there was this kid who was just doing Jeselnik's act. And people were like, you can't do that. And it happened to Patton Oswalt too. Yeah. People were
like I said, I never want to sound like bitter or angry or whatever. Mm-hmm. But to me, look, Eddie Van Halen, God to me. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know why he's God to me? Because of Van Halen 1, 2, Women and Children, Fair Warning, you know. That's why he's a god to me. The songwriting and what he created with 3 other humans and a vibe and a sound and all of that. Yeah. But if it was just Eddie on the guitar, and I said this when I did the tribute to Eddie Van Halen on my podcast, if it was just him all those years, it would just be a lot to me like all the other guitar guys that play instrumental stuff. I wouldn't care at all. Totally. At all. To me, I mean, I'm listening to Fugazi more than anything in the last couple of years. And, you know, stuff like Black Flag and stuff. The simplicity of a song, or even Nirvana, just like, you know, it's a song, man. Yeah. that's what it's about to me at the end of the day, a great song, you know?
Did you ever
like guitar leads are like crowd work. It's after a while.
It's so true.
It's like the crowd loves crowd work. But after a while, you're like, yeah, but where's the jokes, man? I mean, you know, hey, good hat. Where are you from? You know, what do you do for a living? What else you guys want to talk about? You know?
Yeah.
I remember my first instrument though, when I was like 14 was bass, and I went right to the top of the technicality bands, and I was like a big Primus guy. And then but when you first start playing an instrument, you want to see the virtuosos. Like I saw G3 a bunch of times.
Right.
But I don't know if I'd want to see that now, but I think it's like cool to see someone just kill it at their instrument at a certain point. But you're right. Songwriting and vision and technical abilities are all totally different things. Yeah. And they all seem to be necessary. Like I think Slash is like one of the best lead writers, and his leads are typically pretty simple. It's like he picks the best notes, you know?
Well, I was just watching the Kiss documentary, and they were talking about how Bob Ezrin just kind of hummed the lead to Detroit Rock City.
No way.
Yeah, to Ace. He's like, this is exactly how you're going to play it. And then here's the harmony.
Crazy.
And I'm into thematic leads. That's why I like Kirk Hammett a lot, because his leads go, take you somewhere. And he plays them always kick ass live. And recently I've just really worshiped John Mayer in the Dead and Company. And that guy can play the shit out of guitar, but also he can write the hell out of a song.
We just watched this like TED Talk thing where he's explaining songwriting, and it's so inspiring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He really understands it. You know, I find it annoying when people rip on that guy, because I think he's so talented. And I do think he's pretty funny too.
Yeah. Well, the Born and Raised record, I was not a fan of him until about 4 or 5, whenever Dead and Company happened. So maybe 4 years, 5 now. I'm no good with time, but I got the Born and Raised record, and all my life on Sundays I listened to Carole King Tapestry record. It's just of my decompressor. And now I throw this one in the mix. These are the two records. And his new record's fantastic too. It's not out yet, but I got an advance of it. And he's a great songwriter, and I was hating on him just out of my own insecurities of like, this guy's too good looking. He's not supposed to be good, you know? And, and it was my own insecurities because I was, doing singer-songwriter type of Wilco, type of roots Americana rock. And he came around, Body is a Wonderland. And I was just like, oh, God, him and Jack Johnson at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, he's fantastic, and he's become a friend. And
that's cool.
I like being proved wrong. I had him on the podcast 4 hours, and I was like, I can talk to this guy for a year. I love him,
I think it'd be so fun to be like a hot adult contemporary music producer, because you just get to work with the best session musicians. Like on Clarity, his record, he had Questlove on the drums. He had great sax players, all these great sort of string arrangements. It'd be so fun to like do that kind of album,
Well, it's interesting you say that, because you can get the best guys and there won't be any chemistry there. You will get a fantastic track, but it might not be the feel you want or whatever. I've played with some of the best drummers ever, and they just weren't right. I just had Matt Chamberlain on, and we were just talking about it, like how you could have the best drummer, but it might not be the feel you're looking for.
Totally, yeah.
So it's a gamble. You can put together a bunch of guys in the room, and you're going to get a perfect track. But at the other end of the spectrum, you could have like 4 dudes that create lightning in a bottle.
Totally.
4 or 5, say, Jane's Addiction.
Oh, and, so good.
And you're like, oh, fuck.
Isn't that weird how, like, in Jane's Addiction, the bass player seemed to be the genesis of the great records, and then he was the least flamboyant guy in the band.
Well, I had Ross Robinson on the podcast.
I love Ross Robinson.
Yeah. And he said he worked with Eric Avery, and him and Navarro did a record in between Jane's back in the day. Demolition,
I think called. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Deconstruction.
Yeah.
And he was saying that like Eric Avery is Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
Like he's the groove. He's the feel.
Yeah.
And that's why it was never the same. And I believe that also. And also I believe that when you fuck with chemistry, it's over.
For sure.
I firmly believe that.
I totally agree. There's like a magic to it, especially when it's guys have been playing together. It's kind of like that in sports too. You can make like a super team and then they'll probably won't win the championship because they don't have the chemistry yet, as a bunch of people have just been like, burning a lot of calories, getting better together, Yeah.
It was like that year you had the $2 A's team, Oakland A's, and then they just went all the way.
So cool. Yeah. It's such a cooler story too,
Yeah.
Man, I love Ross Robinson. Did you hear him talk about, because his favorite band ever was The Cure and he got to produce them.
Yeah,
and he had to be like, oh really?
I was not when he produced the record, but I sat on stage with them when they played Coachella and walked on and played those songs, and it was unreal, man, because it was that's a lifelong dream of his, of course.
Yeah.
And then there he is producing. He tells some great stories about it. He said the band hated him and Robert loved him. The band was like, fuck this guy.
Well, he was probably saying the stuff that Robert always wanted to say. But I like when he took them aside and was like, I'm a fan of The Cure and you guys aren't being The Cure right now.
Yeah.
He talked down to his favorite band and they just had to like, wow, maybe he's right.
Oh,
that's so cool. Yeah, I like he did this record by this band I love called Glassjaw, and you can hear him throw something at the singer's head, and they just like left it in the track. Yeah. I love that.
I produced his mom's podcast, At Home with Byron Katie. I got a podcast network now called Cactus Radio Network.
Oh, so cool.
I got 4 shows on it. So
your new one with Marin's on there, right?
Yeah, Dark Fonzie, and that thing's tearing it up. Then I have the Grail with where I interview people that are artisans and makers and stuff. Guitar builders, and
there you go.
And then I have Let There Be Talk, which is 10 years now.
Yeah,
600 episodes. Number 600's coming up next week. It's
congratulations, man!
Stone Gossard, killer,
awesome.
Yeah, and then At Home with Byron Katie, which is she's basically a guru, kind of a female Tony Robbins, meditation, spiritual, good, get you through life. And as I had meetings with her, I could say like, I was like, oh, this is where Ross gets it all,
Okay.
Because I used to watch Ross work and I'd be like, oh, this guy's a nut jobber.
That's why I like him.
What are you feeling right now?
Yeah.
Is it deep inside? Pull it out. Yeah. I was like, what a nut. Man, I was like, no, he's not a nut. I'm just, once again, insecure and don't want to feel something.
I think it's like when someone's that comfortable with themselves, watching them makes your insecurities be like, ugh, this is weird. Yeah. This guy's eating wheatgrass shots and talking about Zen meditation. I don't know what to do with this.
So you should listen to the podcast with his mom.
I'd love to.
At Home with Byron Katie. And, people like Jim Carrey are huge followers of her.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of artistic people that really listen to what she's doing, man.
Are you, cause you're like a very positive, motivated guy. And, it doesn't seem like you ever really say no to yourself about anything you want to do, which I find really inspiring about you. Were you like that when you were in your band? Like, cause I know you're sober now, but it sounded like for a while you were like doing some pretty drugs, which would make you feel depressed. Were you motivated and like inspired back then too?
I've always been, motivated and had a drive to constantly. I'm one of those people, like I'm almost cursed where I feel like, there's something more out there.
Yeah.
I can't really idle. And I was talking about this with Marin on Dark Fonzie. I watched the screener of the new Anthony Bourdain documentary coming out.
Yeah.
And it was scary to watch that because I was basically seeing myself, of course, without the fame, but all of his pitfalls I understood.
Yeah.
And there's one point on there where he thought that he was probably unable to love, and I look at it as you reach these higher marks, like maybe your first long-term love. I don't really know if I could ever get there again, because mostly I'm constantly searching for the something, and I don't know what it is, but
totally. I
know for fact that the stand-up is definitely like, oh, thank God I found this. I'm always worried about people that, I think about 90% of the people just live their lives and don't go for it. And totally. I never wanted to be a person that had any regrets. And I think most people, they are afraid of debt and failure.
Totally.
And so.
And discomfort.
Yeah. But they back themselves in the corner because they have these holes in their heart. So they max out the credit cards to try to fill that hole.
Yeah.
That really the hole is you didn't go for what you wanted to do in life.
Yeah.
And
didn't even try.
Yeah. Because you're afraid to fail. So I fail nightly on stage a lot by trying stuff. And I'm glad. I'd rather fail and feel than just sit on the couch and just wait to die.
Totally. I had a similar thing, but it wasn't Anthony Bourdain. For me, it was Henry Rollins.
Oh, yeah.
And I was watching this clip of him, and I was with a girl I was dating at the time, and he was like, yeah, I have no interest in romantic relationships because for me, traveling and experiencing things will always be what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I remember the girl I was dating was like, that's depressing. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Right. Well,
that's how I want to live too.
Yeah. I talked to Henry about that, and Henry said something that I have said over and over and over. And they're like, yeah, you get to this point to where people are just like, well, maybe he's gay, and, they say that like it's bad, I think he's just gay. You get out there in middle America. Yeah. Never see him with a chick. He's gay. But Henry said something that I felt 1,000% about. And it's like, I knew when I started comedy or music that it wasn't going to be fair to anybody that I was going to see, because I was not going to ask for permission to go out every night.
Totally.
I was going to do it. And I did not want to waste somebody else's life where they could maybe possibly meet somebody and live their life how they wanted, like, family and marriage and all that. Yeah. So I never wanted to, be the person, are you going out again tonight? Yeah. And I just don't want to put anybody through that.
Totally.
I recently said on Dark Fonzie, I wouldn't mind having a serious relationship on Sundays only.
Once a week.
And you might find someone that's in that same fucking lineup, I can relate to that too. Sunday, we listen to the fucking John Mayer, Born and Raised. We eat some brunch like an old dumb couple, and then we go out to the movies and enjoy a movie and have a great time, and then we go and be our dumb workaholic selves.
That sounds great. Like a one day a week vacation.
Well, I think some people, if they were honest with themselves, if you gave your partner one full solid day, it's better than 20 minutes a day of your nonsense.
Totally.
Of like just because we're together, does that mean that we need to be together like every day?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, let's ask the what's your name?
Alexi.
Yeah, Alexi. Would you be all right with just seeing somebody once a week?
Yeah. But I think
she's as motivated as any, like she's so motivated though. I don't know if she's a typical person that way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you need to align with the people that understand that. And usually it doesn't happen that way. What happens is one person is attracted to the outlaw craziness of the artist, and then they love it, and then they get it, and they're like, all right, now I got to change them. And then they're like, why? I'm just going to be blah. You like this. Yeah. And usually that person's going to cheat on you for the next outlaw dangerous because you become sad and boring.
Yeah. Damn. Yeah. That's crazy. That's so true, though.
It's too complicated. I just fucking go out and do comedy.
I love that.
I got a dog now, and I give her a zillion times of love. Bring her everywhere, Oh,
man. Yeah. Did you, when you first started playing music in the Bay Area, you must have played with all those big ass bands that ended up becoming huge. Like, did you ever play with Primus or Exodus or those kind of bands? I played with,
we'd play on multi-bills, if there was benefits and stuff for one of our friends that was, hurt or something. Mm-hmm. But I've opened for Testament when they were peaking. Chuck Billy was a huge fan of my band, and
that's awesome.
He wore one of the shirts in a video, and then I would put on that Bon Scott tribute even back then. So Death Angel and guys like that would come down and play. All the big guys eventually would play in the Bon Scott tribute.
That's so cool.
Yeah. These bands were big, but they were just normal humans to me, like the comedians that I work with now, Mm-hmm. Maron and Burr and Diaz, these guys are huge, but they weren't huge when I met them. You know what I mean? So they're just friends of mine.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. Man, Diaz is so funny.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great soul.
Yeah, I believe it. And he's lived like such a crazy life too.
All three of those guys are great humans, and thank God I found them at 44 years old because, all my friends were off married and talking about soccer practice with their kids and stuff. And I just had no, all of a sudden I was like, dude, you and I were crazy men together. And now now you're like, you and your son have matching mohawks.
That is such a thing that happens.
Such a dad thing to do, right?
Yeah. I'm still crazy, see?
Yeah. I always say, let me guess, your son's one of the best on the team, man. You can't even believe it. I don't want to say anything, but his talent is through. Yeah, fucking, your goddamn dad, dude. Your goddamn dad.
Are you still in the depths of your candy addiction?
Oh no, dude! I quit that fucking years ago. I got diabetes and quit it all. And
oh my goodness,
lost 40 pounds, dude.
You look great, man.
Yeah, I lost 40, and I don't have diabetes anymore. But I got diabetes in the middle of my stand-up career, and
Jesus, crazy!
I realized, it was $800 a month for insulin, and I was like, well, I don't have that. I'm a comedian, that's getting like $4 a day or whatever. So I just changed my diet that day and never had sugar or white flour or rice again.
Holy shit!
Got rid of the diabetes, and thank God, because when COVID came, the people with diabetes went out first.
Yeah.
So it was almost like a godsend. It was a good thing I got diabetes.
It's crazy how you've been able to just sort of like pivot when you have to, like when you start losing your voice. So you just quit drinking and everything and seem to never look back. And it seems like your next thing was, sugar, and you were just able to pivot from that also.
Well, anything that's going to take away the thing that I love. So I go, all right, well, look, I'm fucking addicted to sugar. Everybody is. And people hit me up and they go, well, how did you do it? And it's like, well, I loved what I was doing more than sugar. Now, if you don't love your life, you're never going to be able to quit because you're going to have these, spouts of depression, which I have still. And then you're going to just power down candy or whatever. It's going to make you feel good. But that's not fixing what it is at the end of the day. And to me, I didn't love anything more than doing stand-up. So I was like, all right, well, sugar is out. Same when I was singing. I was the singer of a band, and how you going to, have a trashed voice and the band just looking at you like, dude, this is how we feed our faces and pay our bills, and you're out drinking. And, so it was just always, I grew up like, just with work ethic from my mom, and I mean, I'm lucky to be doing stand-up comedy in some of the greatest clubs in America.
So cool.
So I'm not going to let any dumb fucking addiction get in the way of that.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, Dean, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah.
It was really nice to meet you, and thanks for making the time for us, man. When you do come to Vancouver, please do come here, man. They're opening up new clubs and stuff, and so we'd love to have you. Yeah.
I don't have an agent or a manager, so I'm always like, people are like, "Hey, come out here." I'm like, "Hey, I'm not saying no."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I want to get out there and do stand up all over the place.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky. I've done most of the places, but I want to keep going back. So, and the way you get asked back is, selling tickets. So it's the audience that controls the comedian's career at the end of the day, for real. Sure, you can have a powerful manager, and sure, you can have a great agent, but the audience is louder than any of that. And that's because it's ticket sales. I mean, look at Metallica. They should have never been huge, in the industry wise of what was going on. Foxy dudes in leather, and they were none of that. And the audience was like, nah, man, this is our band. And so, as much as I like to scream this out, I'll do it over and over. The people are in control of everybody's career. Yeah. If they get together and they're rabid and they're, making stuff go viral and shit, you're going to go everywhere. Totally. It's the lazy fan that'll sink a band or a comedian.
So true.
I'm going to catch you next time. Oh, you mean the next time I fly 3,000 miles? All right. Yeah, you couldn't go 13 miles down to the club. All right, catch me next time, And COVID, I think, was a great, great eye-opener to a lot of people that thought, I'll catch you next time. Yeah.
Well, the best one you get is, hey man, when are you coming to London? It's like, I was just there last week.
I'll never understand that. I never understand that one. But what are you gonna do? You can't complain. Like I said, I ain't complaining ever. I just fucking keep rocking.
Love it, man. Thank you so much, Dean.
Yeah, check out cactusradionetwork.com for all the podcasts, and
Dark Fonzie,
DeanDelray.com for the podcast, for the tour dates.
Yeah.
And Dark Fonzie and Marin and I got that going. Let There Be Talk. Yep. Stone Gossard, number 600. And Jacob Dylan will be next Monday. I don't know when this comes out, but
this is coming out tomorrow. So Stone Gossard is from Mother Love Bone, right? And Pearl Jam.
A little band called Pearl Jam.
I was just telling you about PJ20, the Cameron Crowe documentary on.
Great.
It's like one of the best documentaries you've ever seen.
So good, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, Dean. Nice to meet you.